How's it going, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. So, of course, winter is here. Clearly, you can see it. But with wintertime, when we're talking about backpacking or bug out bags or Minuteman stuff, things start to change. And what changes majorly, at least one of them, is water purification or water collection or water filtration. Because in colder environments, you often don't get access immediately to running water. And if you do, typically people run around with hollow membrane filters, which these are really good, don't get me wrong. But in wintertime, they can pose a risk, as in a freezing risk. Now, how do we eliminate freezing of something like this if we're gonna use it all the time, especially if we're gonna be moving from point A to point B and you're constantly procuring water, if you can find it at least? So that tends to be the issue. Now, if this freezes, of course, it is done. It's over with. It expands, of course, water when it freezes, and it breaks all those little hollow membrane fibers up, so then larger particulate and bacteria and stuff can slip through, and you may not even know it, and then you go to drink your water, and then you can get sick. So one way that I always keep my filters, at least from freezing, is honestly keeping them on you. And I'm not talking in your pack and not talking in your bag and stuff like that. I mean literally putting them in a pocket close to your body heat. Now you can put it in here. Now this is an exterior pocket. I found if I move a lot, it tends to be pretty good. But if you need to, you can always go to that next layer inside. Like this is a fleece layer. You can always put this close to your body heat. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting it too much on the legs or exterior like that. Put it somewhere in the core. What's really good too is some of these packs or these jackets have zippers that you can actually throw these up on your chest and stuff like that. Around your armpits work really well. Stuff like that, because that is what's gonna keep it from freezing. Now, when you go to rest or go to sleep, throw this in the sleeping bag with you. So typically what I carry as well is a little tiny bag. And this is like a little Hydro Pack bag that their hollow fiber filters come in, and you can just drop this inside, because if it's wet, you don't want it to get wet inside your sleeping bag. So you can just kind of zip this up so the moisture doesn't get to it, leave it open so it can, dry out if necessary, but it kind of holds all that water in, but it can dry out. Put this in your sleeping bag with you. Do not leave it outside, because if it does, it's going to freeze, it's going to destroy itself, which is not good. I mean, they're not that all expensive. They're about 20, 30 bucks. But still. Now, another filter type that has some issues in colder weathers or colder weather environment is the Grail GeoPress, or just in general. This is the titanium one. Still got some water in it. We're not freezing just yet. But in the bottom of this is the main filter. Now, this is rated for 2 freezes. So the first freeze, you're technically good per the manufacturer rating. But once you go to the second one, it's done, it's toast, take the cartridge off and send it. That tends to be an issue because it's harder to keep this type of object closer to your body heat or closer to your body. Typically a whole water bottle is exterior. Now you can throw this in your sleeping bag with you when you're racked out and all that kind of stuff, but on the move as you're hiking, typically water bottles are on the side of you. At least mine are. Here's a titanium one on the side. This is also titanium. Mine actually resides inside my carrier or my rig, which typically slips in right here if I can find it, because my hands are extremely cold, but it typically rides and slips right here. Now this has more of a risk of failing or freezing. Now the GeoPress, at least this model, actually comes with a silicone barrier blocker. So what you can do is don't use this filter unless it's an emergency or necessary. Don't rely on this in the winter time, because it's more susceptible to freezing. So it has a barrier you can slip in there that you can pour water in this, but it won't touch the filter. So you can keep your filter dry unless you utilize it. Once you utilize it, then you're pretty much done, because you can't take the filter off and put it in your pocket, because then all your water gets leaked out and then it contaminates itself. So it's kind of a bummer. But just think of different ways. A lot of different filters out there. Typically body heat and sleeping bag are the 2 go-tos. Throw them in there. If you forget them in your pack overnight, you're toast. And you gotta be really specific about it. You gotta remember it, because if you don't, then you're gonna be stuck to boiling water your entire trip. And if you are more Minuteman or bug out bag style, that can draw attention to yourself if you don't want to. But if you're a hiker, it's just time consuming and it's annoying. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, want to see more tips and tricks, definitely like and subscribe. Many of you who aren't subscribed, just throw down or go down there and hit the subscribe button. It massively helps the channel and I greatly appreciate it. Costs you nothing and it helps me out. So I greatly appreciate it. We also have PayPal and Patreon. Patreons get all like firsthand, information. They get behind the scenes stuff. They see all this content before it ever hits YouTube. And then they see like a lot of personal stuff and other things going on, where the channel's going, and they have input into where the channel's going. So I would definitely consider going over there if you're interested. If not, just keep enjoying the content. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you all have a great day.